and it's been a day. It's been a day. It's been an interesting 24 hours. By the look of the title, you know that we're going to be talking about one of the best franchises in the history of franchises, in my opinion. We're going to talk first non-spoilerish, and then we'll dive into the spoiler, which I guess everybody wants to talk about now and then here. But endure and survive, everybody. Endure and survive. I'm Ronan Insane. I'm here with Johnny Bravo 6. How are you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing good. A little traumatized, and I think we're all feeling it a little bit today, but I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And I have someone who watched it with me between two different time zones. And Jor-Els, Alexandra, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Well, maybe not as good as I should be.
I could probably attest to that. Yeah. So yeah, folks, we're gonna be talking episode 2 of season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us. Non-spoilers thus far. I think it is deserving of the ranking it got on IMDb. It is a killer episode 2, and I've been hearing people being like, "This feels like a season finale." Like, what the heck going on? And I think that's a testament to what Craig and Neil have been collaborating. And I think, and later in the season, Halle grows of the writing for this adaptation. And I've cared about Jackson more than ever with this show. I think with Gabriel Luna and Rudy, I believe, I'm going to butcher her name, but yeah, the lady who plays Maria, they level them up so much with how they tell Jackson's story. And Jerry Pierce and Ashley Scott did a phenomenal job in the games, but we got so much time to spend with Jackson and just see the dynamic. You know, the little kid saying, "We go to the forest and we get trouble." It's like, no, you don't go to the forest. But yeah, people were like, "Where's the action in season 1?" Well, you got it. And the Gustavo, and I think there's another composer, also music artist working on this score for this season, did a phenomenal work. And I think everybody should get their Emmys in order for the coming months between this and Andor. Pedro, Bella, Kaitlyn, just bravo to y'all. But yeah, let's start with Johnny. Johnny, how are you feeling about episode 2 in non-spoilerish way?
Non-spoilers. I think it's one of the best episodes of a show that I've ever seen, to be honest. It kind of, in my opinion, could give you or gave you everything you could want from like a good episode of television. It gave you amazing action. It gave you great dramatic moments, tense moments, even a couple moments that were funny. Like, it kind of just had everything in there. I mean, obviously, you know, less funny moments in this episode than like maybe some of the other ones, but I think it was pretty much a perfect piece of television. I can't really think of any flaws with it. I thought the pacing was great. I thought all the performances, like literally just from top to bottom, I thought everything was pretty much just spot on, killed it. And as far as adaptations go, I think all of the changes and things that we've kept from the game have been amazing so far. Like, in the first season, every now and then there'd be some changes where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But so far, with this season in particular, I think the changes they've made have been pretty much all for the better, at least from what I can see so far. I think all the changes have been for the better, and all of the moments that they've stayed true to have been pretty much executed damn near perfectly. So very, very happy with it. I agree. I think it deserves that 9.5 or out of 10 on IMDb that it has right now. I would give it 10. I think it probably is. I think it has a pretty strong chance of being the best episode in the show so far, out of both seasons. But just, yeah, I'm also emotionally drained. I feel like I went through it today. It was a great episode. Great episode.
Yeah, I understand that. Terrell, what about you? Non-spoilerish review right now. How are you feeling 24 hours later?
I mean, I think it's a pretty great episode. I'm not sure if I would say masterful yet, but it's definitely at the very least a great episode. I guess without giving anything away, it's convincing emotionally, which is challenging given the absurdly high stakes. It's at least great. I can say that.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah. I think we got some comments already, so let's take a look at the comments right now. Hopefully, they're respectful. T. O'Neill says the changes and additions made in these first two episodes were needed to amend narrative choices from the Last of Us Part 2 game. Those made so far have been perfect. Okay. I think I agree with that notion. For me, for the angle of the character of Abby, it certainly helped me digest the story better than the game thus far. Again, different mechanics are occurring, viewer engagement with hand to hand. But yeah, we'll talk about it later with a particular scene that I was like, oh man, that is such a devastating gift to have. And yeah, again, even with the pacing, this was what, an hour of pure TV. And again, commendable to also the editors as well, who were like, we got to keep the action going, and yet go back and forth between Abby's crew and the security of Jackson and what's happening in Ground Zero of Jackson, Wyoming. Let's see. Here we go. It totally makes sense why Ellie has who she has at her side initially because of the changes in episode 2. Yeah, that one I was okay with switching it up a little bit. I was okay with switching it up a bit, especially to seeing how, like, again, to respecting the source material and making it your own. Still doing the exact same similar things, just in parallel universes. And I think that's how you do an adaptation with that stuff. Do you guys have are you of different minds, or do you echo the same sentiments?
I personally agree. I don't want to say too much just because we're avoiding spoilers, so I don't want to go like too into it. But I agree. I think the character pairings in this episode were interesting, and I think they do address issues that people had with the game. I thought they were smart choices. I thought they made sense. And I wouldn't say they amend like narrative issues from the first game. I think they just, I mean, I'm the self-proclaimed Last of Us Part 2 fanboy. I love that game. I think they just maybe give some depth that was maybe led more to your imagination in the first game, or that was missing from the second game.
What about you, Drew?
I'm forgetting one part of your question, but for me, the game is so much superior than the TV show, in general. So that's been something I've been wrestling with. I just think like narratively the game is better personally. I think all the pairings, that's fine. Whatever new directions they've gone in, most of them have been pretty logical for the most part. But I do think that the game is unfortunately significantly better. Actually, there might be certain moments in the show where there's a great argument this is better than the game, but I think the game mostly is better for sure. I don't know if that fully answers your question, but yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think to me, seeing early on in the episode, seeing Tommy built up as the leader and whatnot, I think this is what he envisioned himself in the army, in Desert Storm, and then later on when he joined Firefly, and how he never really got the resolution or the full-on calling until I think Jackson. I think Jackson is where he finally honed in, and it was, third time's the charm, if you will. Also, shout out to the actor who plays Jesse, Young Messino. man, that morning scene, literally from the game. Again, different vibes, but it's that no, you did. It's kind of fucked up, right? Boom, and it's just like, so good. Is this council Music Monday? I can neither confirm nor deny that. Do you wanna?
I mean, Gustavo, man, he's been fucking killing it so far at the music, so it might as well be Music Monday. I mean, my God, this dude is insane, absolutely insane, crazy needle drops this episode too that we can get into later.
Yeah. Brian Margarito Garcia Fonseca. Abby, love. Ellie, love. Joe, love. Yes. Yeah, that is, we'll get into it in a few minutes right now. But yeah, I think, what else do I want to give praise? I want to give praise to the infected, Abby going down the hill and showing up in that place. It felt very much like something out of I Am Legend or, Night of the Living Dead. Like you can sense the thing of like, and I think I was re-listening to the podcast and how Craig said he doesn't just want the infected to get up and just start running, chasing the person. Like he wanted them to bump into each other. Like they've been in hibernation for so long, which is a cool new element that I think they kind of teased and hinted at gameplay wise of like, oh no, now it's not just stalkers that are trying to adapt mentally to attack a non-infected, but it's now that they're hoarding themselves underneath their dead, almost like hibernating, and then as soon as any warmth or movement is made, they rise up from the ground. And have you guys been digging the element of like the pipes and how the weeds are now infected with the fungus and whatnot? Yeah, have you guys been digging that element?
Yeah, that's been nice. Yeah. Was that more so for the show, or was there a exact plot line like that in the game?
I think the show. I don't remember the pipe stuff being in the game or not.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to the change, like in the first season where they have like the patches of cordyceps that like grow under the ground, where like if you tap it, it like wakes up a horde. It's kind of like that idea just being expanded of like, well, if it gets to your pipes, now you're really fucked because now they're coming straight to your house. It doesn't matter if you step on a patch of it or not. Like you start trying to do some home improvement, now they're showing up to your house. So I thought that was a really cool way to kind of bring that whole like development and change back into the show, and in a way that made sense. Yeah. Like, because I wasn't sure how I felt about that in the first season. I was like, it's a cool idea, but like you could just randomly step on a brick or something on the floor and now all of a sudden you're getting swarmed. Like, I don't know. But this I thought was a really good way of like, it makes sense. It's just growing naturally in the ground, and then they're hammering it and they wake it up and now they're kind of fucked. Like now they're all coming to Jackson.
Yeah.
Red Dragon says, I hope Last of Us show gets an Emmy. I agree.
See, it's going to have some stiff competition. The television has been real strong in the past, like 2-3 years. It's particularly strong. I guess it's always strong, but it's got some stiff competition for sure.
Been almost a decade and a half that like TV show has been nonstop, just like bang, 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 either popular or not popular, if you will. Just been striving and running neck to neck with cinema, in my opinion. Yeah, Star Wars Andor Season 2 starts this month, too. Yep. If I'm not mistaken, U.S. time zone, it starts off mañana around this time. So, the premiere, so get yourselves ready for that if you want more phenomenal television for you. Okay, we've hit about the 15-minute mark. I think it's time we ripped the Band-Aid out. I'm going to put it out right here as a visual just for folks we are talking spoilers. So if you haven't watched the show or play the games, I urge you to favorite this video, like it, put it on your watch later list, if you will, and then come back and hang out with us because we have a lot to discuss of narrative-wise where they're at, game, TV show, and especially the moment that a lot of us have been dreading since that first official teaser trailer for season 1 of HBO's The Last of Us. So, again, one more warning. spoilers are underway. Proceed with caution. And I'm even gonna put it in the chat so people don't be like, "What the hell are you talking spoilers after?" I'm like, I literally gave you every warning. If you want to avoid spoilers, don't be online. This is the digital age. Okay, you're looking for it. Okay, here we go. What the heck? Busy? Oh my gosh. Show some skin for a donut. Oh my god. No, this is not OnlyFans. I don't know how to fucking look. Fucking, it happened. Okay, it happened. My paisano, my compadre, for months now, for weeks now, either friends of ours or on the internet, I've been fucking seeing golf memes and jokes out the wazoo. I'm gonna say this, like the game, this motherfucker goes down swinging, verbally at least. He goes, shut the fuck up and do it already. Just like, I got no time for no monologue. You either kill me or I'm gonna kill you. What's it gonna be? Yeah, dude, I fucking cried.
Dude, yeah.
Mia culpa. I'll attest to that. I fucking cried. It was brutal. It was as faithful as it could get, I think, and yet being adaptation and doing a different thing and almost teasing me of like, are they not going to do it, or is it going to be different? What's happening? They switched Dina and Tommy up. What's happening? But yeah, Johnny, I'm going to give you like a moment if you want to just let anything out, and then if you need time, just let me know and I'll cut back. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like, I think like we all kind of said like we were all preparing for it. Everyone that's played the game, at least, that knew what was coming, has been dreading this moment. And after the ending of last episode, I had a pretty bad feeling that it was going to happen this episode. So yeah, I was not ready for it at all. I thought in some ways it was more brutal than the game. Maybe not as mean as the game, just because the game you get no context with whatsoever. It's just like, this is happening, like, and that's due to just the story of the game being like, at that point in the game they just need you to hate Abby because you're gonna go play this 30-hour long game where, since we're watching television now, they kind of just feed you her whole motivation right off the bat, which I think it works. It's obviously a big change from the game where you don't find out why Abby's doing anything she's doing until pretty deep into the game. So her basically giving her speech to Joel was definitely a big change. I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I still like that. Like you said, they still gave him this moment of like, oh, just shut the fuck up already and get it over with. And I like that. I thought Pedro's performance was just phenomenal, where he's sitting there. He can just do so much without even saying a word, just the look on his face. Like, he was just sitting there taking it in. And the part where she's like, oh, like, some things are just fucking wrong. And he's kind of like nodding his head, like, yeah, like, I'm not going to argue with you. Just fucking, like, you're going to kill me. Just kill me. Like, I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to, say I'm sorry. Like, it's like, I did what I did. Like, I agree with you, but I'm not going to, say anything. Like, just a crazy, crazy scene. I think, since we're just going full spoilers, I think keeping Ellie awake after Joel's already dead was a really good choice. Yeah, that was fucking heartbreaking, man. When she crawls over to him and takes the little like like handle of the golf club out of his neck and is just lying with him. I already lost it, but I just couldn't. I was a mess, dude. Like, her crawling over to him broke me and made that scene so much more just visceral. Like, it was bad. It was really bad, and like the best way possible was bad. Like, I don't know. I could keep yapping on and on and on. So if you guys have anything else you want to add,
It's all
but
good.
yeah,
It's all good. I'll pass
crazy.
it on to Jor-El, and then I'll go last because I don't want to make a mess of myself. So,
Mhm.
Jor-El?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really like fully processed the moments. I also haven't like quite literally really seen the moment because we were watching it live and like frames were dropping at points. But I mean it honors the game. I thought it was accurate to the game. At some moments I thought it was just as bad as the game. I think the game is a bit worse because in the game there was like way less context, and it felt more evil somehow. If that makes sense. But yeah, the as far as if I was watching the show for the first time and this snuck up on me, I doubt my reaction would be more different than now. You know, where it's like not really sure what to say, but it's traumatizing. um,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Not sure what to say beyond that, to be honest.
that's okay. That's okay. Um,
I guess the only other thing I would say is that Joel and Ellie, though, they're still like my two favorite like fictional characters of all time, at least since 2020 to present. And I don't really know how to like articulate that or speak to that in a real specific way just yet, because it's still brand new, at least for me. But so that's intense as well.
Yeah,
Because they have the last time we leave them is so depressing for both of them. It's genuinely heartbreaking. But it's like I weirdly love them deeply. It's such a weird paradox.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, to me, what was also gut wrenching was Jesse bringing up, like, we got to go get stuff, and Ellie being like, okay, I'll just ride with Joel. And again, it's the first time you're like, wait, what? It's like, and I love that Jesse was the audience speaking, like, you've been bullshitting him for the longest, like the play, and like what changed one night, and her saying, look, I'm me, he's him, and I hesitate to say that, and I'm like, oh, I was like, that is fucking HBO out the wazoo. How dare you, Craig Mazin? And said that nothing's gonna change ever, and just insist, I'm gonna go with Joel. And I know we're talking spoilerish, but I'm gonna be vague about this because this is just too good of a moment to draw right now. Like, just say that there's a missing piece in the puzzle that is probably my favorite scene in all of the franchise. It's up there with the giraffe, and another scene that we've seen hints at in the trailer. But yeah, it's and also because again, I'm still mixed on the character, not the actresses or the performers behind them. But Kaitlyn Dever they humanized for me Abby way more. Like, it was faster where I'm like, and I knew it was coming, and as Jor-El, I was like almost at points hissing. I was just like, God damn you. And yet there's these moments where she was finally having a confession with Joel and whatnot. At one point she says, you killed an unarmed doctor and I literally go back and hear it, and I'm like, I yell bullshit. I remember him speaking of that scalpel, and it's just like he was armed. You want to debate it whether it was for the greater good or what, that's a whole nother thing. But like, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. I'm just saying.
There definitely still is there's a weird like wrongness to Joel's actions. It's interesting. Even though it's easy to like get behind, because ordinarily speaking, you get behind violence like that, and it's sort of like John Wick results, and it's like, oh yeah, it's fun. But I guess here we're just keeping it realistic, and it's not fun.
I get it, but to me it was also kind of fascinating to see her almost be hypocritical of like saying like, I was trained not to kill people who can defend themselves. That's what you are, but I am gonna kill you. And I don't care if you have a code on me or not, or you're a lawless piece of shit like you. They're just something that are just fucked up. And I'm like, ironic, isn't it? You saying that monologue. I'm like, ironic that like that. Yeah, you say you just shot him and just walked over his body. I'm like, yeah. In some regards, fucked up regards, that's more quick and done than, you know, shooting a 60-year-old's knee off or leg off, torturing him with a golf club. Like I don't know. Like some deaths are better than slow tortures, if you will. And so, and again, it's the culminating of the years and Ravenna, and it's like she's becoming the thing she's hated.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the snake biting its own tail loop, and you mix it up with HBO sauce and whatnot, and it's right there. So shout out to Kaitlyn Dever who did that. I'm not gonna go too into it because it's her private life, but she, during the filming or before this filming started, suffered a loss in family, and so my heart went out to her because it's just like, holy shit, you have to bottle that in, and no pun intended, while filming these bleak, harrowing scenes and saying these dialogues. And I know people still are like, you know, she's not buffed or whatnot, and I'm like, I understand that in some fucked up way. In the game, that makes sense to me because that's the anti-Sarah Connor for me route. You go if you want to do that mindset. Mm-hmm. But again, game, show, the fact that like Joel helped her and like almost again was protecting another teenager, Dina, Ellie, now Abby was protecting her. It made sense to go down the route. And y'all, like, I've never seen adaptation synchronize cutscenes and gameplay so well. The way they did the scene, the defense scene, the slamming in, the hand being like almost cutting itself through the fence,
man, yeah.
And then them already setting up something of an element of Abby that you'll later on may or may not see that it was in gameplay that was like big forever. Like, oh shit, okay, so this is where this comes from. But yeah, do you guys want to say anything about Kaitlyn Dever or Abby? Or also shout out to Laura Bailey. Shout out to Laura Bailey.
Yeah. I will say, I want to say really quick, it could still happen technically because it's just one big remix, right? But I didn't like that we sort of lost the pot smoking like Dina and Ellie scene from the game, you know. But weirdly, I feel like it could still happen though. I guess maybe you could still like worm it in, but at least it appears that it's been axed in favor of Tommy's new additions, which are dope as fuck with the flamethrower. Those are fantastic, actually. But I thought that was like one of my favorite scenes from the game.
It is a really iconic moment. I almost think they chose to cut that out and keep the music store scene to kind of like still have one of their kind of more intimate, tender moments. Like, I would have liked to have gotten both, but I feel like that's probably why they maybe chose to cut that. And then I guess for like the pacing of this episode, if they would have kind of stopped to have that slow moment between Ellie and Dina with like the war going on and then like everything with Joel and Abby going on, I think it would have maybe felt a little weird for the pacing of the show. But it is one of the most iconic scenes from the game, so I would have liked to have seen it. And I think you could be right, where maybe we'll just see recontextualized somehow down the road. I don't know how they make it work, but they might.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it not possible to remix it into the story now, or have we gone too dark, maybe?
They could. I mean, Ellie filled her bag up with weed before she left with Jesse. So, I mean, maybe they're out camping one night and they're like, you know what, let's get fucking stoned on our way to Seattle, too. They're just, you know.
My guess is that, either en route to Seattle or after another iconic scene where music is played, probably that gets them in the mood and, you know, there she goes.
That's where I was going with that, too. I said they could tap that on maybe to the end of the music store.
There has to be more like beautiful sequences between them before we get to like the farm and the museum, right?
Yeah.
So there must be time for that. At least I would hope. At least,
especially with all the chaos and fucking crazy crash out that's about to happen in Seattle. So I mean, we're gonna need something. So
yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
was. I had again between the whole Jackson big action sequence. I kind of be like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna if they put Dina with Joel. I don't think they're gonna do that. And for this version, it might have been something that would have it wouldn't have helped that scene and what that scene was saying and doing in the middle of this chaos and whatnot. And again, it's the beauty of having a blueprint and seeing can we change it and then still preserve that for later on and seeing does this fit better in television or does it not, and how we match that with editing. So I get that sentiment, but I tell people to stay with the show, because if they wanted to do the kiss like that, don't tell me they're gonna chicken out on that wholesome moment between them. Where I think it'll be a good moment to reiterate Ellie of all right, I know you're done and up, but you have another reason to live. You have another reason to fight for, and it's Dina.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm just waiting for the line. You go, I go, and that's it. And I'm waiting for that line. Just be all right, that's they're together forever. Yeah. To me, also, I remember people being like, "Why the hell would Joel, fall for this easily and whatnot? Why would they go?" I love that at very certain points they weren't trying to go to the lodge; they were trying to make their way back to Jackson. Yeah. It just that weather was an issue. Timing was. I love that Dina was also not trusting of everything. Where are you coming from? Where is the infect coming from? And then she sees the bag, WLF.
Mm-hmm.
And also seeing Joel of the reason why they went there is because they said they have guns and food and shelter and whatever they need. When they get there, what is he doing? He's calling Jackson. He keeps looking at the fire. Mm-hmm. And so that tells you a lot about how much he's come to accept and need this community. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just well executed wise. I've been even when he has gun pointed at him, he keeps looking at Jackson, not only for the people, but my brother's there, my daughter's there. I'm I need to get back to them. He really says, if I die going back, I die going back. Mm-hmm. That was very, 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 very enhancing for that element of the story.
I think that's the biggest strength of this season so far, and is all of the Jackson stuff. I think is really amped up. You get to see in the first episode Joel being in charge of rebuilding parts of Jackson, and him talking about taking in people, and you really get the sense of him being a pillar of the community, where in the game you he's important. He's definitely everybody knows who he is, but I think showing him actively doing more stuff around Jackson helped with that. Even his little therapy session, hanging out with Gail and just seeing him interacting with different people in Jackson. I love that we got to see him with Dina. And I think talking about the pairings and stuff, I really and it's going to come at a cost too, but I really like that they put Dina with Joel, because a lot of people complained in the first game, Tommy and Joel, both of them wouldn't have agreed to go with Abby. They would have put up more of a fight, all this. And then they're well, Tommy's going to be in Jackson saving Jackson. He's not even going to be there. We're going to put Dina with Joel. And I like that she's kind of there just taking in all the information so she can feed it back to Ellie for when they go back to Seattle. And obviously, since we don't have Abby that looks like a UFC fighter, it would be kind of bad if Tommy and Joel were both there, because especially in a TV show, if it was Tommy and Joel, they would have fucking killed all of them pretty easily, I think, and just Joel would have been fine, and that would have been the end of the show. They would have just walked out of Lodge. So having Dina there made sense. I like that they tried to humanize Abby's group and make her stand out more as the one that's really vicious, where Owen's I want to get the fuck out of here, dude. We're gonna die. I don't want to be here right now. Yeah. And everyone's just kind of taken aback, except for Manny a little bit nodding his head when she starts torturing Joel, and Nora's kind of just not crying, Mel's fucking freaking out in the corner. Owen's Jesus Christ. Nora's kind of in the middle, just I don't really know how I feel about this. Man's kind of just yeah, I liked building their motivations too, I thought was good. I thought like all just the little like details they added to everyone's motivations and everything really has been enhancing the story, and I think it will enhance it down the road.
Yeah.
Especially when we spend time with Abby's crew and stuff. I really liked all that stuff. The only thing that I don't love about Tommy not being with Joel is that means we're probably going to lose the scene. One of my favorite scenes is when Tommy goes to Ellie after Joel dies with like the little, like dinner, and they're talking about the plans and everything. I think that's going to be gone because I thought that was a really nice moment between Ellie and Tommy. Like every time like she hugs Tommy after, I just start tearing up.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably get a scene similar to that. I also think it's gonna be great because in the preview for the next weeks we saw like Tommy sitting in the morgue with like his body, which could be fucked up too. Like I think we're still gonna get stuff to maybe fill that place, but losing that scene kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. But I think like Dina being like, no, it's the WLF, these are their names, instead of like Tommy being like, well, maybe it's not the WLF, maybe I read the patch wrong, maybe that's not their names, maybe when he's kind of giving excuses to Ellie trying to convince her not to go. I like that it's more like, no, Dina knows what the fuck's going on. Like, this is what's happening. We're going to go do it. So I think there's pros and cons to both. I'm mostly positive on that because I do like Dina being more close with Joel, and it makes more sense, kind of like how Teague was saying in the beginning. Like, I think Dina helping Ellie on the quests is going to mean a lot more now because Joel was very close with Dina. So I think that's going to enhance that a whole lot more too.
And again, the pairing is almost poetic because he wanted to go with Ellie, but he wanted to let her rest. And I'm wondering that besides the missing piece that we're alluding to, we'll keep alluding to, is that when they're heading off to do patrol, I wonder if Joel talked to Tommy one last time. I wonder if Joel and Dina talked about like, so you and Ellie, and I'd be like, I'm like, kid, I trust you with her. You deserve each other. Like, you have my back. And like, that's gonna be heartbreaking if that happens. Yeah. And, like, Dina tells Ellie that like he supported us and like he was happy for us that we found each other one night. And like, again, it'll show the story of like, no, they're willing to like even like sneak out of Jackson to go and get him and whatnot. I hope too that I hope Tommy and Ellie have that moment because it's not just that they're not blood related uncle and niece, but like I think Tommy would tell Ellie like, all right, whether we go after them or not, I just want you to know that thank you. And Ellie would be like, why are you thanking me? Be like, because after Sarah, you gave my brother another reason to like keep living. And like I won't forget that and whatnot. And like I think that it'll finally be a good teary moment. Again, uncle and niece have been like, you did good, kid. Like no matter what happened, you did good. Yeah. And yeah, man, I'm already dreading the house stuff.
Oh God, when that point in the preview for the weeks to come came up, I started like almost sobbing again.
I was like, no, cut it. I don't want to watch it now. Yeah.
Like I was, as soon as they showed her in the house, I was like, dude, I'm just gonna have like migraines after every episode for the rest of the season. I think because I'm just be fucking crying my eyes out every time. I was like, dude, I love this game, but I forgot how just traumatized, like the trauma's coming back. And I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
And for folks who don't realize this, Joe, John, you guys can attest to this. We played this game 4 or 5 months into COVID.
Yep.
We played it after leaks had been spreading like fungus.
Yeah.
It was a dark time,
really bad,
and we were seeking escape within a dark game that we didn't know we were getting ourselves into. And so you have to take that into consideration now, and how we're 5 years later.
Yeah,
how much these themes, these characters, these sequences, these dialogues, these moments are hitting us in this very profound, hammering way, and how much the echoes are just like, it's very, very haunting. It's very, very haunting. Like, it's been a while since I felt that haunted about this stuff and whatnot. And I'm glad people now are caught up who haven't played the game. But I'm like, okay, this is fucked up. Doesn't really get any better than this. There's one or two more moments, maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I will say, I think one thing that they made that was a mistake for sure, is when it comes to Abby's size. I can like I'm sure most of their like intellectual arguments are pretty sound for why they chose the actress that they did and why they went with the look that they did for Abby. But unfortunately, I feel like this might be a crucial misstep because Abby's strength and like her visual look in the game is such a symbolic thing, metaphorical thing, especially when we last leave Abby for the last time in the game, which I don't even want to talk about, even if I wanted to. But so like if you're gonna like skip all that, that makes a number of scenes upcoming just questionable in my mind. Because one thing that made Abby like so wonderfully hateable and engrossing was her like freakish strength, which caused some scenes to be horrifying in a way that like it's hard to describe, to be honest. So it's like if you're just gonna take that away, it's like how are you gonna not only fill this narrative gaps but as well things like that make me nervous because I feel like the game was kind of just like perfect narrative execution, so makes me nervous.
I think what they're going for in the show, and then watching like the behind the scenes like every week after, Craig keeps talking about and emphasizing, really making a point of the similarities between Ellie and Abby. So I think for the show, they're going more towards that angle, where in the game it was more like if you want to look deep into Ellie and Abby, they're very similar, but like a lot of it is also about the big differences, not just because gameplay differences, but just the differences in general. Like I think this show and this portrayal of Abby, they're gonna really lean into. They both have a crazy fucking switch that can flip, and once you flip that switch, it's over for whoever's in their crosshairs. Because like that's the one thing I think Kaitlyn did a great job of is like she's not a bodybuilder, she's not fucking huge, but when she brought the rage, like when she's giving that speech to Joel and when she's sitting there, like the look in her eyes, she even sounds like Laura Bailey a lot, I think too. Like I think she really captures like, because kind of how people have problems with Bella, like, oh, doesn't look like Ellie, but like it's the soul of the character. It's like, yeah, like it's there. Like, and I feel the same way with Kaitlyn as Abby. It's like, yeah, she's not physically imposing whatsoever, but when she was like, and like you said earlier, like it wasn't like as villainous as in the video game, like as mean and evil, because she gave you the breakdown of it, but in a way her giving Joel the full breakdown of like why she's gonna kill him was villainous in a different way, and evil and mean in like a different way. Whereas almost like Bane in A Dark Knight Rises, like, now I'm going to break you. He's like just giving like the whole breakdown of like, this is exactly what I'm gonna do to you. This is why. Get ready to fucking die. And I was sitting there, I was like, this is crazy. Like this is, it's a ballsy change, but I really liked it. But that's just like my 2 cents so far on the Abby thing, and I think some elements will be a little less scary. I'm thinking more like the fight between, I'm tap dancing on eggshells here because I don't want to like give away stuff, but like the fight in the certain location that they're gonna be in, and the good if you know what I mean, like that scene. Like that whole part, like you're terrified because she's just fucking going crazy. And she's just triple the size of everybody. And she's just like going nuts. I think it could be scary in a different way. But I don't know. That's all up to execution. I think that might even be season 3. I don't even think we might see that necessarily this season. I don't know though. I don't even know anymore. Neil and Craig.
Maybe not. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, because some people were saying, like, oh, well, you couldn't find an actress, and I was like, wait, what? Like, just someone that I just freeballed, which is Katie M. O'Brien. She was she was in Love Life Bleeding. Yeah, which is that A24? I think that might be A24. Yep. I could be wrong, but someone like that could have been perfectly fine. So I don't understand this narrative of like, oh, well, maybe they couldn't just find someone. I'm like, pretty sure they could have. And also, like, her strength made certain scenes in the game genuinely horrifying in a way that I don't know that you can replicate another way. Like, there's one moment with I'm trying my best not to spoil this, but like, there's one moment with Dina, and one of the last moments that we see Abby in the game. These are two moments that if you just take her strength away, when her strength was there, that's what made those scenes just make you be like, oh my, what? I just fell down like some nightmare tunnel,
Yeah.
But it was perfect. But it's like, if you take that away, I'm real skeptical that you can just kind of hit anywhere near that level of quality. Maybe I'm missing something.
I think it's also,
I don't know,
because Bella is such a small human being that, like, if they had like someone the size of Abby in the game fighting Bella, and I think that's also why they showed Ellie fighting that fucking gigantic dude in the beginning of the first episode, which I even thought was a little like, I was like, I get what you're doing, but I was like,
Ellie
I think that's a little
small in the game.
She
though.
is.
Maybe she might be like literally taller or something, but like size wise, like Ellie is a small chick. Like, she's not like
she
fucking,
is. It's more the height thing. It's like the height and
might be a
weight, where
height
it's
thing.
like Bella is like short and small. Where it's like Ellie was like tall but small. So it's like, I don't know, like, if you were to put Bella up against someone that looks like video game Abby, I think it'd be laughable. Where like, if you put,
but
like, that's kind of like the thing for me.
She's meant to be imposing, though. She's
agree.
meant to be like impenetrable. She's meant to be like why are we supposed to care for this like almost like Thanos like character? You know what I mean? Like
and she's 5 years older. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
true. Yeah,
God.
that's why. Like, I see both sides of it. I'm
Same.
kind of like, I completely agree with what you're saying. I just don't know how they're gonna spin things. And like you're saying, maybe some of those scenes won't hit as hard as they do in the game because it's not as scary. Maybe they'll still be good. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
so far Kaitlyn's done a great job of selling all the emotions, and like,
That's true. That's true.
stuff is Abby.
That's true.
We'll see how they, because I mean, they kind of even talked about it a little bit too, I think, in the podcast, like that. Yeah, Kaitlyn's not big. Like, she's not big. So I don't know if they thought of ways to work around that to still make her scary. Like, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but
that's definitely what made her scary in the game, because this one particular Dina scene, which I don't want to give away, made Abby like genuinely terrifying for real. Like, I remember just being like, I'm not sure what's about to happen next. Like,
yeah.
I want to describe it, but that feels like maybe too much spoilers. Maybe, I don't know, but man,
yeah,
the game was so fierce. Jesus.
Oh man, it was brutal, and that's kind of why I was surprised too. By, I think in some ways, I know I've gotten like mixed response when I've said to people, I almost think that this Joel scene was maybe a little bit more brutal than the game, just because like the whole like stab in the neck was like, that image haunts me, like that, where like you don't even really see, like, you see like the angle of Joel getting hit with the club and like, the fucking brain on the golf club, which is gross, but like there's something about just seeing him beat to a pulp and then just shoving that thing through his neck on the floor. I was like, dude, holy fuck. Like, because so far the show, I've said one of my criticisms of last season was I thought it was very tame. Where like the game is disgusting, bro. Like, it is so gory. I remember when I played part 1 on PS5 and I shot a dude's head off with a shotgun, his brains were just sliding down the wall. Like, the level of detail in the gore is gross. And I feel like the first season, like even Joel going through the hospital, I thought it was pretty tame. I was like, I don't know if I'm a fucked up person for wanting a lot more gore and just create, like, I wanted to see arms flying and heads. Like, I want to see, like, I wanted to really, like, when Joel was going to the hospital, I want you to like see, like, holy shit, like, he is going insane. Because when you're playing that part in the game, like, there's body parts all over the floor, like, like, you leave a mess in that hospital. And like, Joel still did, but it's not as much. So I was almost caught off guard by how maybe in certain ways this was more brutal than the game, where I feel like the show's been a lot more tame with the gore than the game. And that was one thing going into this season. Yeah. Like that's one thing I was a little scared about going into the season. I was like, yeah, I agree with they need more infected, but I also said I think they need more gore because I said too. I was like, if you need like for that Joel scene to hit, it needs to be gross. It needs to be fucked up. It has to be hard to watch. And it was very hard to watch for me. I was really not having a good time watching that scene, and I've played the part 2 like maybe 10 times.
And again, they didn't close in on the leg because after every hit, you heard him squealing, and that was what broke my heart.
Pedro's screams were, oh my god, like amazing in the worst way possible. I was like, this is really, even when they put the tourniquet on his scream, I was like, oh my god, like every time it started making me cry. Like every time he made a noise, I was like,
and they made him look older, which is again kudos to the makeup team of like how you made Pedro look older, incredible than whatnot. So
like I think they did a great job selling that moment. Like they really needed that to hit. And it is a haunting image. Like they really, because like I said, in the game you see him get killed, but like I feel like there was a lot of shots of him just laying there beating the shit like on the floor, just fucked up, golf club in the throat. Like they really showed it to you. I was like, this is really, like, this is bad. Like this is really, really bad. Like I know a lot of people want to bring up the Negan thing in The Walking Dead, and I was like, honestly, that's kind of comparable. Like it was very disturbing to watch, where it was even maybe more disturbing in a way than The Walking Dead, just because it's like the main character of the story. Glenn was a big character on The Walking Dead. Spoilers for The Walking Dead, sorry, but like, but it's just especially a lot more where different.
Pedro's at right now,
and it's an older man too.
People kept saying, he's not gonna. He
didn't do anything wrong.
Like, you're not gonna like what? Like Avengers, FF, Mando, like what? Like you're not gonna do this, and then it's just like it's. I remember Craig almost laughed. He was like, "Oh yeah, the studio HBO who made Game of Thrones, they kidnapped
when he said that in the
podcast, they're not gonna do that."
Yeah, when he said the podcast, I was like, "Why the fuck?" I was like, "Why didn't I think of that?" Even though I didn't watch Game of Thrones, like, why didn't nobody think of that? That's why, like, when he said that, I started laughing. I was like crying, listening to the podcast. Like, oh my god, what the fuck you gonna say? And he said, I was like, yeah, actually, that's kind of funny. Yeah, it's like, he's like, what the fuck you mean you don't think we do that? Of course we would. it's like you evil fuck. It's like I love you, but god damn it.
I think the problem with what they did is that it is too much. I think that's the truth for sure. I mean the second game is like the greatest video game that I've ever witnessed. But I do think it's too much, which I guess clearly was the point. But man, I really think Neil kind of
it's therapy.
Well, yes, but
yeah, he definitely does. I love him, but the guy's a little fucked up.
He sort of overclocked it. Like I don't think he anticipated like just to the extent that people loved this fictional character Joel. Because I didn't. It wasn't even until when Joel died that I realized, like, oh, I didn't even know that I loved Joel. To be honest, because unlike most people, like I could sort of speed ran through both games. You know, I had like played a little bit of the first game in 2013, but yeah, I sort of like speed ran because people were just freaking out about part 2, and I was like, what's going on here? Because the first game I thought was like if it was any darker, I don't know if I'd fuck with it anymore. You know, like the first game I thought was like sharply, uncommonly dark in certain areas. And I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good thing it's not darker, so you can only imagine. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and like I've always heard them saying like nobody loves these characters more than we do. I'm like, and I get that. But like you can't say people probably don't love them as much as you do. Like that's a whole nother talk that like people getting tattoos, people learning how to play guitars because of these characters. I don't know what else proof you need about that. And like again, I think even in the making of part 2 game, they said when it came to marketing, they underestimated their audience. How people were already figuring out that maybe Joel dies and whatnot, and like that's a testament to where people are as viewers in this day and age, and where storytelling and marketing have to be at.
Absolutely.
Before we go further, I want to shout out some of the comments. We got some good comments, so thank you for anybody who's been tuning into it. Share the enthusiasm, like it, and let the channel grow more because I got a lot of crazy ideas, especially right now since I'm traveling right now. So let's see. What the? Alex Martin says, damn, 2 of you are some real zaddies. Cool.
All right.
Cool. Awesome. That dude with the mustache kind of sus. That's
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
cool. Nice. Let's see. Red Dragon 9 says, I couldn't tell. Was Jordan in the last show episode or not? I can clearly remember that soldier Jordan. So there's another thing of like changing the aspect is that like there's no Jordan here, that the one that gets cut is Manny.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking spoilers now. I'm so thankful that Joe wasn't spit at. Because that really pissed me the fuck up. I was like,
hated
oh, okay,
Manny
now...
more than Abby. I hated Manny more than Abby just because of that. When he got his, I wanted to throw a fucking party in my house. I was
clapping.
I was so happy.
And to me, it was almost a bummer in the game because I'm like, oh, the only Latino character gets to do that to Joe, and I'm like, that doesn't bode well for me. And so I'm like, okay, we didn't do that for Denny Ramirez. Cool, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan isn't in this crew as of yet. He might show up. You might see a baseball hat if we go to Seattle. So tune into that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he was probably cut out or saved for Seattle at that point.
I'm kind of happy if we cut out the fat of Abby's group because I think they got all the main players in Abby's group there that really need to be there. Like if we lose Jordan and what was her name, Leah, I think was like the other one.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with them not being there. Leah was literally there for like a fucking tit pick and to like put some like pictures in a box for like Abby and Dina to find. You know, like she wasn't really even a character. And then Jordan, you know, I don't know.
He was just a dick that when he got his comeuppance, you're like, good.
Yeah, he's just the first body along the way. I mean, his death is awesome and everything. I love Ellie shanking him in the throat and everything. Like that whole scene is great, but like. Jordan will not be missed, at least to me. I don't really care. Like, let's focus on the heavy hitters. Like, I fucking hated Nora too. Like in the game, I hated most of her crew except for Owen. Owen was really the only one where I was like, you know what? Besides you know, knocking up everybody and cheating on everyone and kind of being a man whore, I could kind of get behind this guy. I kind of like him a little bit.
And he kept telling Abby, that's enough. Like the fact
that's
that
why I was like, Owen's my guy, dude. I was like, I like Owen. I do. The show made me feel better about liking Owen. I was like, he's not a complete piece of shit.
Yeah,
he's got morals.
So we're in pure spoilers mode, right? Or pure okay.
For some of it, we're treading lightly on like the characters and whatnot.
Events that haven't happened yet.
Okay. Well, fuck. I was gonna say something about the farm that always got to me really hard, and like. They kind of in some ways kind of have to do it again with Ellie. I don't think that's something you could just remix out. So basically,
you gotta do it.
Basically,
like, in season 1 already, sheeps and stuff. I'm like, no way, you just threw that line for the heck of it.
No, and all I gotta say is by the time we get to that moment, you know, that was the only time in the game where for the first time, like. Me hating the game and like me being angry sort of like fell away and like I understood the game for like the first time, and this is like fucking, you know, hours and hours and hours into the fucking game.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly just being like, oh no, she's exactly where she needs to be. What is she doing? Everything she's thinking is wrong. Oh no. Like it was such a emotional like epiphany that I just don't think can happen with another game. I would love to be wrong though. Maybe part 3.
Who knows?
Yeah. I think Tigo Neal says that I'm also wondering if looking back on season 1 that because of the cordyceps and Ellie, if she and the infected and or the fungus itself are talking to each other without realizing it. That's interesting.
What?
Interesting. I don't know.
Listen,
don't know if they'll do that. It might be a little too sci-fi-ish, but again, they did the whole bread thing of how the cordyceps was like passed down, so that I wouldn't exclude that just yet. Let's see. What the hell? Dollar store Anthony Santino looking ass. Okay, I don't know what that means.
I don't even know who it is, but okay.
I'm uncultured. I don't know who Anthony Santino is. Sorry.
I don't know.
I wish they didn't cut out the wheat scene for Dina and Ellie, where Dragon Knight says, "Yep, yeah, we understand that." Will they? Okay, so Red Dragon says a comment about Abby and element to her. I won't post it, but like I think if they do, they show that and the camera angles. They show the fence going down on Abby as she was crawling. Red Dragon 9, they might do that sequence later on, but I think that won't happen until season 3. Honestly, even.
Yeah.
Again, depending where they're at by season 2, it might even be season 4. So I don't know yet. I don't know how long it's gonna take. It could be 3 seasons.
I don't know what's gonna happen, dude. I have no idea what's gonna happen anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. And when Abby said that the Fireflies don't harm people who can't defend themselves, and yet the Fireflies had no qualms about scooping out an unconscious kid's brain.
Well, she said the WLF. She's talking about the WLF.
Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac.
Which again,
well, we can say his name.
We'll say because
mentioning again, Isaac that early too. I was like, no. I was like, but I was like, give me Jeffrey Wright, but
yeah.
So yeah,
I think that statement will be tackled once the seasons and the location shift, and it'll be interesting to go back to that statement when people explore more of the story and whatnot. Draven's giving us a hello, yo. What's up, Draven?
One prediction I have too, to go back to the last comment. I feel like we're going to see Isaac break that rule,
bro.
Especially knowing Isaac from the game and like what happens in the game with the WLF. I'm calling big fucking bullshit on that code. That's going to go out the window at some point. And then I think that might also cause Abby to be like, wait, so this code I've been living by, is that fucking like, does that mean shit now? Like, I can see that coming into play too, because I really doubt Isaac's going to stick to that code. I'm calling big old cap on that one.
Yeah. Teagle Neal says that I looked at episode 1 and this episode again, and I'm wondering if we're getting events in real time and at the same time experiencing a memory with parts missing, trying to be as vague as I can. Yep, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm. That's the narrative I'm going with. I'm like, they're doing most of the stuff linear, and then it'll be either in cold openings or like ending openings, cold endings of just like, oh, by the way, you forgot this one piece and whatnot.
Yeah, we're doing like a hybrid style of like the video game where it's like it's more linear than the game, but it's also gonna have flashbacks. So I think what they chose to do, at least from what it seems, is like the more recent flashbacks are probably gonna stay in like modern times, except for like maybe the one scene that we're kind of tiptoeing about. But I think all the far flashbacks are gonna be sprinkled in, and some of them happen in context of the game that would make sense, like when Ellie picks up a guitar or something like that. I feel like maybe stuff like that will stay the same, but some stuff also might get like, who knows, I don't know. But
Red Dragons 9, I'm gonna skip your comments right now, but we'll post it later on because we got to talk about that element as well. But you see, The Last of Us 2 still won Game of the Year, which is impressive.
Very much
LOL, releasing the dogs in the episode, so Jackson trained dogs too, a bit confusing, but guess so. Again, an element of echoes. You bring in that element in this world, and like you may or may not see that again. Who knows? I love that they're already setting up breadcrumbs. That's the beauty about this story and their adaptation. They're like, oh, this shot or this stuff we're doing the sequence or the element we're throwing in, you may or may not see it again. Stay tuned. Keep your toes on top of each other, whatnot. Ungame Thunder Dragon says, hi. Hello, Ungame Thunder Dragon 3. Jerry Mayberry says, W says, no invite, what the freak. If you wanna show up, I'll send the link. Hold on. Let's see. What the freak? And then y'all are still going. Impressive from Busy. Yeah, man, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So we're doing that.
We're handling.
I'll send you the email right now.
Shit, handling business. Shit.
But okay. So before we do another element towards the end, does anybody else want to say anything about Tommy, Maria, Jackson, Joel, Abby? I think again, production design, kudos on making it look like the game, and also whoever scouted the area where they shot it.
Unbelievable.
And we could see Abby's, like Kaitlyn's face pinked out. Bravo, because it felt cold as shit
Oh yeah.
from where I was standing, and I'm like in the warm weather right now, and I'm like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say I am glad that about the way that they shot it. Like particularly like the environment where Joel goes down. It you could tell like somebody was like, listen, this needs to be as close to the game as like human. Even like the windows, like the little haze on the windows, you know, where you can't like see through it. It is a brilliantly reconstructed nightmare.
One thing that I thought was kind of funny that I noticed while watching it was like in the game, Ellie comes in from like the top of the house and has to go to the basement to find Joel, where in this version she comes in through the basement and has to go to like the main level of the house to find Joel. That was just like something kind of random that I noticed that I thought was kind of like funny in a way. I don't know why. I was like, oh, this guy first coming through the basement this time instead of everything happening in the basement. But like you said, to the shots, like some of the shots were taken straight out of the game. Like the shot of Ellie opening the door and like the look on her face, like all that was great.
You know the whole Ellie like traveling to the house, following the screams. You know, like it's funny when I think about like the moment, like one of the top moments that traumatizes me the most. That's actually one of them for some reason. Particularly when I first went through the game, there was something about like that knowingness that like something extremely wrong was wrong with Joel, right? Especially when his leg goes out in both the show or the game, whichever, you know.
Yeah.
You're just like, wait, what? And then when you're going to the house and you're hearing the screams, there's like a level of horror or trauma there
Absolutely.
that almost was on par, if not worse than getting the answer of like this is him being beat to death.
Because it's like almost the fear of the unknown at that point, where it's like you're getting there, you're like, what the fuck am I about to see when I open that door? Like, you know what's happening, but it's like, what are you gonna see? You hear it, and you're going through this dark house. You're like, can I not open the door? Like, I don't know.
In some regards, I kept hearing John Carpenter's The Thing theme, just boom, boom, just like you're in the snow, and something bad's about to happen. And again, like Jor-Els was saying, I just hear boom, boom. We got Draven here, who's also seen the episode. How you doing, Draven?
Nice.
Yo,
what up?
How you holding up?
Bro, I fucking cried my eyes out, bro. I'm not even like the biggest Last of Us fan. I just cried because it was sad as fuck. No, like, fuck, dude. I even watched it like this morning. I watched my own reaction. And I started tearing up before work. I'm like, bro, this shit's fucking sad, bro. Maybe it's just because like Pedro Pascal, but like, I don't know. It was sad.
Again, for the uninitiated, it's a bold move of like, wow, you're killing off your star right now like that, and what does that say about
that was maybe
the boldness of the studio and the writers behind it? Be like, it's what this story needs to be told and whatnot, what they chose to do with it.
That was maybe my favorite part of watching the episode. Was like, I said it before the show with like Ronan. I was like, I played the games, like my mom watched me play the games like a movie during the pandemic. My dad has no idea what the fuck is going on in the game, so he has no idea what to expect. So we sat down to watch the episode, and I already saw it, so I knew it was coming. So when everything's happening, me and my mom are sitting there like crying our eyes out. And I'm just looking over at my dad, and he like when he watches shows and movies, he's usually just kind of like blank. His jaw was like on the floor. He was like just sitting there and he was like looking over at me like concerned, and then looking back at the show. And then once she sticks the golf club in, he was like, "Oh my god!" And he was like, "Did they just do that?"
My dad,
yeah, they did.
My dad called me right after the episode. He was pissed, bro. My dad was fucking pissed. He's like, "There's no fucking way they just killed Joel." I'm like,
yeah, but I was like, "So what's the rest of the show?"
Did you know? I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I watched the game." And he's like, he was mad. He doesn't know if he's gonna watch it anymore because he's like,
Busy had not seen it yet, and he had seen like a thumbnail of mine, and he again we had talked because Jor-Els kept saying I think I figured it out, and Busy just called me. He's like, "You okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm not okay." He's like, "You good?" When I'm like, "Yeah, I just need to walk around," and I literally after the episode I laid down for like 5 minutes. I went walked around Chiba here in Japan. He's like, I need him, and then hopefully none of the locals were like, what's wrong with that sad American? But yeah, like to me, you know, somebody kept saying, so this is how it felt to be a fan of A Song of Ice and Fire, and then when Red Wedding happens, this is how it felt and whatnot. And like again, people compare it, whatever. To me, this is my Red Wedding. This is my, you know,
Absolutely,
Glenn, you know.
yeah.
So back to it, and it's just like,
Yeah. No, I've never. That's why I said like it's an achievement because like I said I played part 2 like 10 times. I've never cried so hard while watching a show in my entire life than I did while watching that Joel scene, and I knew beat for beat what was coming, what was going to happen. I knew how it was going to play out, and I was still just sitting there. I was like, dude, this is like unbearable. I'm really struggling getting through this. And then, like I said, the little like changes they added that made it hit a little bit harder. I was like, dude, this is bad. Like, this is bad. I was not. I knew I would cry. I didn't expect to have like the ugly like lip quiver like I was sitting there. I was like, dude, this is fucking bad, dude. This is really bad. And then I don't think we talked about either the final shot of the episode dragging his body.
bro.
I was like, there's no way. As soon as they cut to like people coming out, I was like, that better not be. I already knew as soon as they showed the show. I was like, no. And then you see the string. I was like, no. And then you see the white sheet with the blood. I was like, I lost it again. I was like, oh my God.
It was heartbreaking seeing people's reactions because again, I haven't fully seen the episode again. I just see people's reactions. People when they saw the body being like pulled away with the horses, that's when it hit people. Were like, so again, the friend I kept saying, this is a dream sequence, right? This is a nightmare, right? This is not real.
No, it's just it's fucking haunting and disturbing. The whole ending is haunting and disturbing. It is insane.
I love that like Joel went into I forget her character's name, but Catherine O'Hara's character, the therapist, into her house, and he sees a painting of a cowboy and a horse.
Yeah, the solo
cowboy by
cowboy.
itself in a landscape. And it was almost echoey of like, oh, by the way, in your end, you're gonna be right next to a horse, whatnot. And
yeah, man.
You know, we brought up the last shot. I think we should bring up the last element, which you know I hinted at with the photo, but like this sequence of her,
dude,
this was the heartbreaking gift of like, because in the game it just cuts to black, and then it's like either the next day or 2 days of just like denial.
Yeah,
but seeing Ellie crawl to him, hold his hand the way she holded him when he got stabbed, and had to like go find medicine for him. Her wheezing because she got kicked in the ribs, like sitting right next to him. The shot, the upper shot one was just stellar work, and
also there was a shot in the middle of the game, and you know, I was like, I wonder if that's also going to be another visual we kind of go back to. And the music, I think, was even playing a little bit throughout the scene in the background faintly. That song from the score, like I think we're getting a lot of like the George Lucas, it's poetry, it rhymes. We're going to be getting a lot of that throughout the next few seasons.
Shout out to Mark Mylod, who did a lot of Succession and HBO shows, I think. Bro. And in the podcast, they said like, oh, like I think Neil was asking, oh, you must be like nervous about the big action stuff. When I was like, no, yeah, that's fine. I'm just nervous about like that scene because I gotta do it right by you guys. Like he said, he watched or played the game, and that scene was very effective for him. So like, I gotta do right by doing it justice in live in a live action television show. But so we're talking about the ending shot, the finale, the ending, y'all. As soon as I heard a string of guitar playing, and I knew what song it was, I just again the film don't lie. I was just there and I just hear, I walk through the valley. I was just like, fuck you guys. I'm like, like of all people. A, you play that song, and B, you get her to come back and play that song or use that same track she recorded. It was just,
bro.
And
the
what do you guys thought about that?
An episode being named Through the Valley too, and that being such a crazy callback. I was like, you guys are fucking evil geniuses. I hate you so much.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I ended other circumstance. I feel like I've like fully disassociated from the episode by that point.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that's a very fair response.
It's there's so much traumatizing like audio and particularly audio. I thought they did well on because a lot of the audio during these stretches in the game are
Yeah, they brought back that sound. After the
It's terrible. It's terrible. Like imagining the golf club hitting them, I always thought was just so particularly fucking terrible. Jesus Christ. Man.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Up.
I love that you talked about in the podcast on like the haunting of Anna, not just Ellie, but Anna as well. Of like the only other person that loved Ellie as much singing for Joel, but if you look at it, really, she's singing for her daughter, who's like, "You're gonna go down a dark road," and like, fuck, man, this is a fucked up show. This is a fucked up franchise. Why the fuck are we fans? Like,
it really is. It really is.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, bro, why do I have a tattoo of this shit, bro? This is fucked up. This is fucked up.
Like,
we also cut to another fucked up and sad moment in the finale, which is it cuts back to Jackson. Somebody is on the ground, shows a bite mark, hands a gun, and then just hands up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Jesus Christ.
That whole battle was nuts too. Like I want to because we've been mostly talking about the Joel stuff, but that battle was 10 out of 10.
Helm's Deep, man. Lord of the Rings out the wazoo vibes.
Yeah, bro. And in my opinion, I'll take that over Helm's Deep any day. No talking trees are in this shit. There's that bloaters and clickers, bro. And Tommy going fucking crazy with a flamethrower, man. Like, oh my god, I love Tommy in the games. Gabriel Luna, man, what a guy. What a fucking guy. He's unbelievable as Tommy. It makes me really excited to see what else he's going to do this season. Also, I want some more Tommy. I want all the Tommy I can get. I want a Tommy overload.
I was having a shit ton of comments saying, just wait for the Tommy crash out. What is that? What are they talking about?
Why would we spoil that?
What do you mean?
Just wait for the Tommy crash out, dude.
I don't want to. What does that even mean?
I want to say this is that there's more moments.
Bro.
Like we said, again, keeping it very vague, that like there's only like maybe 2-3 more nice moments, and that's it. It just gets worse.
Oh, we're entering a cesspool of garbage very soon. It is only bad vibes from here on out for the most part.
We've already been there. We
just dove head first and almost broke our necks in the deep end of it in this episode, but there's a lot more to come. It is bad. There's a lot of crash. Tommy crash. Everyone crashes out, dude. It goes fucking off the rails.
Yeah. Again, I think people were saying in the comments that they shot this during the winter, which I'm like, God damn, I can't even imagine what Canada was during the winter and what they had to put up. And again, just scheduling. And then let's see what else. In the game, the area where Joel was attacked was a lot darker than the show. From a lighting perspective or whatnot, maybe, I guess. But like, again, it plays out very similar. I mean, there's a horde chasing them and whatnot, but like in the show, there is a horde chasing them. They just barely made it on their horse time. Like, I like that there was, what was it, frostbite or whatever that Dina had. Yeah. I like that they added that element to that. I'm like, oh yeah, that would make sense. Someone getting that in this blizzard, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Then they shoot during a blizzard for episode 2. Tegan O'Neill says that would be. I feel for the cast that they did that. Last of Us show comes out on May 4th. Wonder if they will have a Star Wars reference. Who knows? Doubt it. I think that's on their mind right now with that. What else? I think. Okay, cool. Kashina, the face model for Dina, is in the game. Said Dina's hair looks so nice. Like she went to a salon. She liked the first episode. Yeah, again, shout out to everybody who paid the way for this, whether it was just facial scan, like again for Abby, facial scan, Jocelyn, I could be wrong, her name is that, be wrong. Laura Bailey as well, Shannon Woodward. Just a rich tapestry just to like dive more deep into it and let other stuff be explored in it. Like again, knowing that Eugene was a vet in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And how much he had to be put down. Like, again, the vagueness of being put down on. I wanted to see why that was the main reason, other than he was just a firefly. And I'm glad that someone said that, like Joel, like when Abby was like talking to him in a way and asking him to like tell me what you did, and he says, "I saved your life," and she says,
Yeah.
"What life?" And then shotgun to the knee. I was like,
Yeah.
at least someone said it, because I'm like, it makes. And again, she was reaching for the gun when he saved her, and
yeah.
I can't wait to see compilations of people just timing it of all of us when the gun. He's like, "Give me your hand," and he's just like, "Oh no,
Yeah, it's just
don't go in that house, Joel. Get out of there." Just
No,
like, oh,
no.
It was.
let her get crushed by the
man.
friends. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that's hard, is that his death is it's just a horrifying, Jesus Christ, like, and disrespectful too.
Oh,
Like
very disrespectful.
offensive. It's very offensive.
Johnny, I know you have to head out. Yeah, busy day today.
Yeah.
But hermano, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us.
Of course,
Please, plug yourself, tell where people find you, and again, thanks for hanging out with me again, man.
Of course, man. Always a great time, even if I'm reliving past trauma and current trauma. But Johnny Bravo 6 on YouTube and Twitch. I'm slacking on content, but as long as Ronan will have me on the podcast, I'll be here talking about The Last of Us with you guys. I had a great time speaking with you gentlemen tonight. I'm emotionally exhausted. I don't really know what else to say. I've cried more today than I think I have in months. So yeah, rough day, but a great day. What a day.
Hermano, to the edge of the universe and back. Endure and survive. Take care, man.
See you, kiddos.
God damn it.
See you guys.
See ya, man. Yeah, I think we'll be wrapping it up soon. Draven, is there anything that we missed that you want to talk about in the context of this episode?
Oh, I think you got everything covered. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie. And we talked about it this morning, so
I was also it was almost like fascinating to see another town in the snow like Jackson, and you see again a street be made, and you see the winter and the fungus and the infected just crawling, and you see Tommy just blasting his way through with a flamethrower. That was, again, gameplay fan. It was nice to see a flamethrower duking it out against a bloater, and it says a lot about Tommy seeing the bloater, seeing or sensing Maria shooting at him, and then goes after him, and be like, "No, me, chase me." He's a G for that, in my opinion. I'm looking through my notes, see if anything I forgot.
I still need to like, unfortunately, I still need to like rewatch scenes or like this episode, which is very unfortunate. But because like so much about last night was such a such a blur, almost literally too, because we were watching it live and. Like I've been joking about, I lost some frames, but for the best probably, but yeah, or it's like just like what I said before, it's just too much in a way. Yeah, it's just too
I
much.
get it.
deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, and it was even sad hearing the interviews with one and Pedro being like, "I'm in denial right now. I haven't even watched it yet." Just too damn sad to like experience it. Which again, someone of his caliber right now, where he's at in his career, it's so like nice to hear how much he actually gives a shit about this stuff. It's not just a paycheck. It wasn't just a cool script. That like he got something. He took away something from this experience with this franchise, and we got a cool new look at Joel Miller through his lens, and I haven't, I would ask this to all three of them, but I feel like after seeing last night's episode that Ashley Johnson, Troy Baker, and Laura Bailey respectively would be proud of Pedro, Bella, and Kaitlyn. I think like, not bad. this could have been a hell of a lot worse. This could have been a hell of a lot worse, if not under different hands. So shout out to Craig Mason, Mark Milo, I think that's the director, and everybody involved who made the shot. And also to the background actors of Jackson, Jackson, and seeing that played out, that was awesome. And Weta for the CG stuff that we're doing.
Do you think
yeah.
Do you think this breaks the show?
This moment?
Mm-hmm. Because this moment in The Walking Dead, which is easy to forget in today's time, Walking Dead used to be like the biggest like fall show ever. So, similar style moment with The Walking Dead, it broke The Walking Dead. Like we can track it numbers wise.
Right.
It's no joke. You can see the decline from the season 7 premiere to season 11. So do you think that this will happen here? Because The Walking Dead is not going to have nowhere near as long of a life as a series. So it'd be shocking to see them go past like season 5, to be honest, if they even get that far. So do you think it survives this hit? Because they did it accurately, and these poor people didn't even have the luxury of like a leak. They were just like, "Oh my God, we love Joel," and then bam,
I don't know, Jane. What do you think? You think this would break viewerships a little bit, or?
And my dad already said he's not watching anymore, so I don't know. I mean,
there you go.
Maybe, honestly, maybe.
But I do think some people want blood.
I think it'll decrease a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But
right?
Yeah. I don't know. I truly do feel like, again, everybody kept saying, where do you go after this? Because this felt like a season finale in episode 2. So I don't know. I mean, there's some moments I still want to see, but then again, I play the game, and again, I think for me, optimistically, I think people who are ready to quit on the show just now, I think same amount are eager to be like, all right, well, let's go. Pack up your bags, your guns, your arrows, your bottle, your bricks, your knives. Let's go. Let's go after them. Seattle, WLF, let's go get them. And so I think there's as much as people being like, let's go get for blood. And then it's just like, that's a whole odyssey. That's a whole odyssey right there itself. So I hope not, for the sake of the material, how rich it is, and selfishly because I want Last of Us Part 3, and then I want to have a good bookend, like for me, in my opinion. But what do you think? You think it's over, Jor-El, or you think people will stick around?
Are we talking about Last of Us Part 3, or just like continuing this season? Oh,
Show.
This season. Oh, If I had to go with my gut, I do fear of an unexpected large drop off. I do fear that for sure, because it is such a particularly emotional thing, and for better or worse, they did it pretty much just like the game. So it's hard to imagine that like most of that same audience is going to be like, yippee, let's continue. Like there does seem like, oh man, could this be like a fracturing? Makes you wonder, because I want it to stop. So never mind like millions of other people, and I'm hard to like get a rise out of or get like a huge emotion out of. So it's just like, man, if I'm feeling this bad about it, I can't imagine somebody's just like, oh my God, I just loved him with Grogu. I wonder I sure like Joel. How bad could it get,
Yeah.
It's way worse than Glenn, too.
What was that?
It's way worse than Glenn, I think.
I think so. And I love seeing Yun, but yeah, I think so, just because
that was like 7-8 years build up.
True.
And you were with those characters for way longer, bro. But
nobody, even I
game, I don't know.
And again, it also goes with where Pedro's at right now. He's the guy right now.
Yeah, but bro, I tell you what, when Glenn died, I was on my knees. I was in 8th grade, maybe. Bro, I was like, literally, I thought I was crying for this. Bro, I was crying for Glenn. Like, that was hard.
That's real, though. That's real. We were with Glenn for a long time.
True.
And he's such a lovable character. And he was actually a good guy. Like, he didn't kill a single fucking person. Like, Glenn's a good person. Joel is not a good person.
But damn, at least it was just like, well, shit. If I was gonna love somebody, of course you love Joel. Jesus Christ, you gonna do my boy like that? Shit, goodness.
So I don't think Joel's a bad person, but he's done bad stuff. That's a whole nother conversation for another time.
Yeah.
He's definitely a bad person. We're not gonna talk about that right now.
But yeah, I think let's see. Let me wrap up this with this. The choice of the titles for these first episodes was demented. It's apropos. It is apropos. As fucked up as that sounds. But yeah, folks, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think. Besides this, we have the Team JVS review that not. I mean, Jor, we barely spoke in it, but like the others said a lot of the episode itself that you can go check out. But yeah, it was an experience. It especially sucks for me that I'm traveling. I'm not in the comfort of a place where I can just go and do stuff. But anyways, still, we did it. We watched it, and we talked about it. Again, kudos to everybody at Naughty Dog who brought us here, and then kudos to HBO, everybody who gave us the best scenario they could have with this adaptation, and then these again, very profound, heavy subject matters and stories moments. Muchachos, thank you so much for taking the time out of your own days to hang out with me and talk a little bit about The Last of Us. I want each of you to plug yourselves and tell any final thoughts, and tell where people find you. Let's start with Jor-Els first.
Okay, yeah, it's just as it is on the screen. That's my main YouTube, my main hub online where I push out content, so you can find me there. As far as the episode goes, it's just too much right now, but it's what they gave us right now, so that's that's where I'm at with it.
Get it, Draven?
You can find me on Draven Mayberry on YouTube, and then Draven Reacts and everything else. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I want to see some badass Ellie, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right. You can find me and Draven hanging out most times either at Party Nation on Lance Geek Drum's channel, and almost every Wednesday on Council Creators with Chainsaw Reacts channel. Hopefully we can get Jor-Els in there sometime soon. To at least try it once. But yeah, folks, stay tuned to this channel. It's growing ever so every day. Especially if you're a Last of Us fan, you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna want to hang out here with us, because not only are we 2 ways into season 2, but we're gonna be starting Andor very, very, very soon. Mere hours away from it, and we got plenty of stuff to talk about between these 2 shows and more. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the enthusiasm, let people know from HBO and Underdog, whatever it may have you. In the meantime, for anybody who suffered and who cried, my heart goes out to you. I'm sending you tissues and air hugs as much as I can. Yeah, to quote Ellie and Savage Starlight, to the edge of the universe and back, endure and survive.